Hi, I'm Elise. I'm 39 years old. And in the darkest moment of my life, a stranger who gave me just 15 seconds of her time helped me keep breathing. People think suicide is a decision, but it's not. It's silence born from deep despair. And in that silence, everything gets heavier. Your thoughts, your words, your breath, even your existence. My silence started years ago. As a kid, I was emotional. I cried easily, thought too much, and felt everyone's pain like it was mine. People called me too sensitive. My mom loved me but didn't really understand me. My dad saw my quietness as causing trouble. Eventually, I learned that staying silent caused less damage. In high school, my depression was brushed off as teen drama. In my 20s, my introversion was labeled social awkwardness. In my 30s, my burnout became laziness. No one ever asked, "Why do you feel this way?" They just expected me to get better. But the truth is, I was just trying to survive. 2 years ago, I lost my mom. Cancer. It happened fast. One moment she was there, and then she wasn't. Our bond had been the one thread tying me to this world. When she left, I slowly started disappearing too. I was working at a small consulting firm, small company, small desk, small tasks. Nobody really noticed me. I smiled and did my job. And when someone asked, "How are you?" I always answered, "I'm fine." Because what difference would it make if I said I wasn't? But the truth was, getting out of bed each morning took hours of mental effort. Even making breakfast felt like a luxury. Opening my favorite books made me feel empty. At night, I stared at the ceiling, and honestly, that ceiling spoke more to me than life did. Then I got fired. They said, "Your energy's low, you're not really fitting in with the team." I remember thinking, if only being numb counted as a skill, but it didn't. I wasn't seen as gifted, I was seen as a burden, and people don't carry burdens for long. That day, I didn't get out of bed. I left the curtains closed, didn't cook, muted my phone. As the hours passed, time lost meaning. Evening came, a soft wind moved outside. I sat by the window and stared into the darkness. And then, a familiar whisper surfaced inside me. No one's going to notice anyway. It wasn't even pain I felt. It was a weird calmness, a quiet desire to just stop. I didn't want to cry, didn't want to scream. I just wanted to not be. And then without even thinking, I reached for my phone. Maybe to see one last thing, maybe to say goodbye, or maybe just out of habit. I opened TikTok. My mind was blank while I scrolled. Then a live stream caught my eye. "If you feel alone tonight, join me." I tapped it. It opened. There was a woman on screen. Her face was plain, her hair messy. A dim lamp glowed behind her. Soft piano music played in the background. She wasn't even looking at the camera. She was sipping tea. She wasn't there for anyone else. She was just there for herself. I almost closed it. My finger hovered, but I didn't. Then, she slowly lifted her head and said, "If no one told you today that you matter, I'm telling you now." Just that. One sentence. And something cracked open inside me. My throat tightened. Tears came, at first quietly, then like a silent scream from deep within. I was still sitting by the window when she spoke again. I used to sit by a window like this too, 3 years ago. Same silence, same emptiness. Someone saw me. They didn't stop me, but they said, "If you're here, then I'm here too." She didn't know my name, but she knew me. She didn't recognize me, but she felt me. And in that moment, I pulled my feet away from the window ledge, put the phone beside my pillow, my eyes still full of tears. I felt like I wasn't alone anymore, like I was visible. And I made the choice to stay. The next morning, the first thing I did was message her. I didn't say anything, just watched. But last night was the first time I wanted to live. An hour later, she replied, "You don't need to see to know. Your heart already did. And choosing to stay, that's everything." Her name was Alyssa. I started joining her live streams, but healing, that wasn't easy. I signed up for therapy, but canceled the first 3 appointments. Every time I tried to leave the house, I felt a storm in my chest. I cried the first time I went to the grocery store. Crowds terrified me, but I kept trying, because I could still hear Alyssa's voice in my head. If you're here, I'm here too. Little by little, I built new habits. I started writing, putting my story into words. Sometimes I'd write all night and delete it in the morning. But even that was something. It meant I was still here, that I was still leaving a trace. One morning, I opened the window, and for the first time, the breeze didn't scare me. For the first time, the air let me breathe. That's when I realized I was still here. And I didn't just want to exist anymore. I wanted to live. Elisa's thank you to Maya. Sharing this story with you was scary, but I know your channel isn't just a window, it's a hand reaching out. I stayed because of Alyssa. But the reason I'm able to tell my story now is because of you. You don't just give women a platform, you give us an echo. I thought I was invisible, but your voice helped me hear my own. Thank you. A stranger's whisper saved me. Maybe now, this story will help someone else hold on too.
Elise, sometimes a woman sitting by a window feels like the loneliest soul on earth. But in that silence, a stranger's voice can build a bridge. You cross that bridge, and now you're shining a light for the next woman who needs it. To the one listening right now, maybe we've never met, but I hear you. And you're part of this chain too. She's not alone, and neither are you. Real women, real stories. Share yours or find your voice in hers. This is sisterhood. This is strength.